Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. The S&P 500 was down just a little bit more than 0.4%. But again, for the third day in a row, we've seen a sell-off in the technology arena and the clean energy arena, genomics, all of these things that have been doing so well for so long. And again, this was one of the reasons I wanted to have stop losses put into place. We had several of the stop losses triggered today, which I'm pretty happy with, to be honest. And let me show you an example of kind of, what's happening and why it might be happening. And share my screen here real quickly. I mean, one of the problems that does happen is that a lot of times, there's news that's out there. So a situation in Texas or what have you. And really, it comes down to kind of price movement and things that are, attached. The news attaches itself to that price movement. For example, this is the iClean, clean energy piece. We've had this for quite some time. And, if you look at this back in, March here, it hit a low of $8 and then it hit a high of $34. It's an incredible rate of return. And so really what's happening here is that this rubber band has just been stretched, so far. And you can see it built a base here and then took off, and it built a base here and took off. This built a base and took off. And so, but one of the problems it's having right now is that it kind of broke through this base. And so, our stop loss is right here. And we basically got out of this position because of that stop loss in our IRAs. Now, we're not moving out of this at this point inside of our non-IRAs because we have over a 70% average, gain in this position. So I don't want to generate that much taxes, and especially on a short-term capital gain basis. But one of the problems that happens when it breaks below these bases, well, let me talk about the positive. First of all, these bases are really, really positive. You can see how many of them they had, because what it does is it creates this whole support level. And if we get above that, then you've got this to fall back on. But just the opposite is true when it falls through the base on the bottom side here, because you can see there isn't a lot of volume below this. And so it can kind of fall for a bit. And then it has to kind of crawl back through, all of this resistance to get back to where it is. And so I was concerned about this. I talked about this in January. A lot of this movement that happened right here was right after the Georgia win. And, really, the market just got so hot. And we're still doing well. I'm still really happy with everything. But there's a very broad sell-off. Not much work today. Bonds, those types of things. It's just one of those days. Really, it's been kind of one of those weeks. And so we'll see what happens. I am going to make some adjustments to the portfolios and kind of, reduce some of these pieces that are at these highs, because it seems like there's a selling, mode right now that's kind of happening, and that's okay. And so I have some ideas and doing some research on, where the money's going, and so we can still be in front of that. But really, a lot of the pieces that we have done just so well, and that's great. And I don't want to follow them all the way back down. Again, if we have taxes, we'll let them go for a bit. We don't want to let it all disappear, but got to give it a little bit more room there. If, on the other hand, we have a taxable account and we bought something, not too long ago that is actually at a small loss, I'd like to take that, because that allows us to capture, losses, and then we can use those against gains to make other adjustments to the portfolio, as the year goes on. I generally would rather have profits on every single thing, but that is one thing you can do to take advantage of some short-term losses, is to kind of capture those and then use that money, for future changes. So not a great day altogether, but I think the strategy's there. I talked yesterday about having a plan, stick to that plan, don't panic. The stop losses are working. Really, really happy that we have those in place. And so that seems to be, holding up things pretty well. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I think we're kind of just in this mode right now where, the market is kind of settling in, and we'll see, how that plays out. But look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Thank you very much.